Hello, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. I'm continuing my series on the recent slew of Trump executive orders, and I've already done some videos on essentially what they mean, what are the issues that you can look for, and so forth. And I'd like to uh, go into more detail on one of them because it is a very troubling issue. I mean, there's lots of troubling issues on these executive orders, but I'd like to go over the one where it deals with internal security, and it essentially says that if a person is going to come to the United States, they basically have to support the Constitution of the United States. And minus the fact that it appears that, the provisions of these executive orders weren't really thought through as to the legality of them and how they would be executed and what manner they should be executed and so forth. You can see that there are lawsuits now all over the country and basically granting injunctions against the executive orders, ordering that these people be allowed in. And there's a class action lawsuit, which is currently pending in the state of Washington, which is going to pull everybody in. And we'll see how it plays out. We'll see that, you can't just, with a stroke of the pen, change all of immigration law and just basically go at your whim as to what it is that you may want to do. So in this particular video, I'd like to talk a bit about the one on internal security and how it does say that they have to support the Constitution. I want you to first think about this. Let's say that you were going to go vacation in France, and France had a policy that unless you support the Constitution of France, you're not going to be allowed in. Or let's say you wanted to visit China, which there are tons of Americans that visit China. And let's say that it said you need to support the Constitution of China or you won't be allowed in. So essentially what that's saying, if you look at this in a backwards kind of way, if China were to do this, this would mean unless you're a communist, you're not getting into China. Okay. And then let's say you want to go to Thailand or Japan or the Philippines. Most people are not experts on what the Constitution is of each country. And so by that order, you're essentially telling everybody to forget what they believe in and to review, analyze, understand, and then support the Constitution of the U.S. And that's just silly. It just can't happen like that, or else nobody is going to basically come into the United States. The only law that requires that, in fact, a person support the Constitution of the United States is when they are applying for naturalization, when they want to become a U.S. citizen, not when they want to visit the United States to go to Disneyland, not when they want to come to the United States to get an education, not when they want to come to the United States on a temporary work visa, not even when they come to the United States to become a lawful permanent resident is it required that they support the Constitution. There is a big difference between wanting to do harm to the United States and supporting the Constitution of the United States. It is just not doable. It throws up the laws of immigration in such disarray, it's hard to even explain how somebody could put that type of provision as a requirement for entering the United States. So, it just sort of goes to the theory here that the United States, which at least before Trump got in, was inclusive of all different races, all different nationalities. We are the melting pot of the world. It is unlikely you could go to too many places in the United States and not find people from this country and from that country and all over the place, and people from this religion or that religion. It's because of the freedoms of the United States and because of the laws not mandating that we believe in a certain religion or a certain way, that people were more than willing to come here to the United States, not to do harm, not bunching people in such a group that, for example, all Muslims are bad. Okay, obviously, all Muslims are not bad. And so to do a Muslim ban such as this just throws in the face the ideals of the United States and the reasons why people come here in the first place. Going further on this, on one of the executive orders, Trump was saying that he'll give priority to those asylees who are seeking a Christian religious persecution or persecution because they are Christian. Well, again, that just flies in the face of equal protection and of laws and of the way that the United States has allowed all kinds of people come in. I mean, it's just a blatant violation of the First Amendment, to basically say, well, if you believe in Christianity, then you're going to get priority to get into the United States. It doesn't matter if, you believe in, one of the 500 other religions around, and if you're being persecuted because of that, that doesn't matter. Only if it is you're Christian. And so, the idea is that no matter what religion you are, whether it be Christianity, Judaism, if you have some Islamic religion, Muslim, and Hindu, whatever it is, if you're being persecuted, then you should be allowed to come into the United States in which to apply for asylum. So, I'm quite certain that there's going to be lots of court cases on violation of equal protection, violation of the First Amendment, and so forth. You can't just disregard all the law, all the statutes, all the regulations, all the cases, and just sign a piece of paper that's called an executive order and think that everything's just going to fall into place. It just doesn't happen like that. And that's what's wonderful about our democracy is, in fact, when the Muslim ban executive order came out, there were lawsuits filed pretty much, before the ink was dry, and there were judges that issued rulings against the executive order before the weekend was out. And as you can see, there are lawsuits all over America popping up now. So the claim or statement that everything's going just fine, just like they wanted, is just simply not true. And we'll see how democracy works by showing the separation of powers, how one branch of office, the executive branch, cannot overstep its bounds and cannot violate the Constitution, because another branch, the judiciary, will rule against it, of which will invalidate those provisions of the executive orders which are not constitutional, vague, ambiguous, and so forth. And so I'm looking forward to these cases coming down and the rulings going forward. So that, in essence, is what I wanted to talk more or less about in this particular part of the executive order. If you're having any issues and would like a consultation, give me a call. I'll be happy to see what I can do. More on the coming videos.